My aim's not bad, but it's not great. So in order to hit Ascendant for the first time, I'm adding weekly aim training to my routine. We all have those games where we feel unstoppable, where we just can't miss a shot.
You underestimate my power!
Take this! Gotta go! Slow!
Spike down B. One enemy. Spike down A.
I'm out of here!
And I know we've all had those games where the opposite is true and we can't hit anything. Up until recently, I didn't take the game seriously, but since then I've gone from gold to diamond, and with a hard reset coming up, now is a good time to work on some of my weaknesses. So before the next act starts, I'm doing Woohoo Jin's aim training for the next 7 days. So here are my goals. First off, I'm not expecting my rank to skyrocket from aim training, but I want my win percentage to go up over time just from being more consistent. I find it hard to rank up when I don't carry, so I want to be able to carry more and just be more consistent overall with my aim. I also want to do my routine every single day. I'll be doing the intermediate Woohoo Jin and Voltaic aim lab training playlist, and then Woohoo Jin's over flicking drill with medium bots. I'd also like to win a deathmatch after getting 10 kills with just a sheriff, and then after that I can move to Vandal. And at the end of the video, it will also be a new act, so I want to do my placements. And throughout this video, I also might do some 5-man customs with my Discord server. I also just want to say this because a lot of people say, hey, aim is not the problem for you. And I agree, like aim is not the biggest issue for me. There's a lot of other things that I'm working on right now. But I will say I do know that I need to be more consistent, because there's a lot of games where I play really well, where crosshair placement is amazing, where it feels like my aim is on point. And then there are other games where I just can't hit anything, and I want to bridge that gap. So consistency is the biggest thing for me. And I know that this is something that I'm going to be doing for a long time, even beyond this video. So for the first part of the week, I changed my sense, and I did this before starting any aim training. It was originally 0.238 with 800 DPI, and at first I bumped that up to 0.3, but it felt a little bit too fast, so I bumped that back down to 0.28, and that felt much better for me. The sense overall felt faster, and at first it felt like it was more than I can handle.
Gecko is on B.
Oh, rush.
Now we're cooking.
Blind.
Omen dead.
Last player
Oh, yeah,
standing.
Oh, I didn't think they were up.
Spike down.
Let's go there.
One enemy remaining.
Out! I got the spike.
Take it.
You
Grenade.
want more? Here's more!
Hello.
Shoot it.
Can't run
I
that.
should have went around. Honestly, I should have went around and killed him there.
He's stuck. Oh yeah, that would have been so smart.
Oh, he
But you
probably
do have
caught
ult.
you doing that.
Ow. My
Definitely
placing
gonna be,
swarm
yeah.
grenade.
He's gonna
Clink,
be.
clink.
He's B.
Nice.
As I was doing the aim playlist and making sure I was following the instructions and not just shooting the targets, I very quickly saw a lot of my shortcomings. I wasn't great at tracking, and I wasn't great at flicking from each target and then micro adjusting. And at first I thought it was a new sense, but as I read through the instructions, I quickly realized that I never did a lot of this stuff when I was aim training before. The aim training playlist was also hard for me because I didn't trust that my crosshair was going to be there with my new sense. So I was way over flicking, or I was way under flicking for a lot of these. And after my playlist, I went on to do the medium bots, which also felt weird. I really struggled on the left side flicks for some reason, and I struggled to trust my sense overall. And even though I had done this over flicking exercise before, it still doesn't feel natural to me for me to use my movement to help me aim. So I struggled in this exercise, but I did my best to break it down into parts. And when I say using my movement to aim, I'm not talking about strafing. I'm talking about using my movement to align my crosshair onto someone's head instead of just adjusting my crosshair to their head. I don't think my aim is bad. For the last few acts, my headshot percentage has been sitting around 24%, but when it comes to adding everything together, crosshair placement, movement, micro adjustments, etc., I think most other gamers have way more experience than me because this was my first competitive FPS on PC. And I want to catch up and be a little bit more consistent so I can compete at higher levels. And then I did not hit any of my goals on any of these days. I played a bunch of DMs, a bunch of TDMs, just so I could practice applying what I was training in game and get used to my new sense. For the second part of the week, there was really nothing special, but there were a few things that I noticed and a few things that I decided to isolate and work on. So around day 3, I pretty much felt back to normal with my sense. I was also scoring better in aim labs, but I think that was a handful of things. One, that was me getting used to my sense again. That was just me doing these activities more, so naturally I was going to get better because I knew what I was doing. But I do think overall I was just improving as well. I also noticed that sometimes I have a tendency to go on autopilot, and if I'm in game or even in aim training, I would just was not clearly identify the target or clearly identify an enemy's head. And if I wasn't doing that, then my accuracy would decrease. Also, at times in game and in aim training, sometimes I would flick to a target and then kind of freak out and make a lot of wasted movements. So I started breaking down those movements. So essentially I would flick, see how far I was off, and then adjust to the target. The movements I made were fast, but I would take my time to identify the target before the flick and then before the micro adjustment. And then just over time, I sped that process up. Day 4, I played custom matches with my Discord server, and I was drinking and I got bodied. The rake range from these games was anywhere from bronze to immortal, and I'm too embarrassed to show the footage, but here's one of the shots that someone hit on me. And then on day 5, a handful of things happened. The first thing is that with the overflicking drill, at this point, pretty much every single day, I was scoring over 20 on the medium bots, which was good. But the drill overall was still feeling pretty awkward for me. So this is just something that I'm going to have to work on long term. Second thing is that I won a deathmatch getting 10 kills with a sheriff first. And I have combed through all of my footage and I feel like I didn't hit record for that. I promise I actually did it though. But overall my aim was just feeling more crisp and more consistent, which is what I really wanted. So at the end of the week, it was the beginning of the act for me. So last act, I finally hit my new peak, which was Diamond 1. And for the new act, I had to do 5 placement matches. And for every single placement match, I felt good, outside of a few whiffs, of course. There were also a bunch of issues with my movement and positioning, which I'm working on for another video. Also, rank-wise, I was pretty much the lowest rank in most of my placement matches. There were a lot of peak Diamond 3s, a lot of peak Ascendant 1s, Ascendant 2s, and even some Immortals in those games, but I still held my own and I still played fairly well.
Spike planted.
Screens.
One enemy remaining.
Nice. Last one.
Sky is flash.
Last player standing.
Much better.
Oh yeah. Watch out ramp, watch out ramp.
Spike down A.
That's crazy.
No. Get blind.
You will not kill my ally.
One enemy remaining.
Oh man. Get that.
So my record for my placement games was 3-2, and my average headshot percentage for all of the games was 27%, which is 3% higher than my normal headshot percentage. So after all the placements, I was feeling really good. I was like, okay, I might even place like Plat 2, Plat 3, even though my peak is Diamond 1. And then I placed Gold 1, which I was super mad about, but I decided to grind that day and I played 11 games and I went 7-4, and I ended the day at Gold 3. Just for a quick goal check-in and then some takeaways, I hit my goal of doing aim training every single day. I hit my goal of winning the deathmatch, even though I don't have the footage of it. And then of course with the long-term goal of increasing my win percentage, that's just going to be something that I pay attention to long-term. That's not something that I'm worried about right now. In takeaways, I think there are 2 major ones. One, I know that aim is not my main issue. There are so many other things that I want to focus on, so many other things that I am focused on, but I do feel more consistent. I do feel more confident in my aim, and aim training is going to be something that I continue to do even well beyond this video. Second thing is that I really need to work on my movement. It's something that I know what good movement looks like for the most part, not fully, but for the most part. I just get so lazy within an actual game, and that's something that I want to fix. So this was part 2 of my Reaching Ascendant series. I took a little bit of a break after the holidays and I just had so much footage to edit, but I will be back on this and I hope to see you in the next one.